right, we're back another Saturday. Good morning, everyone. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
Great rising. How you doing?
I'm
Morning,
blessed.
All
morning,
right.
morning.
Well, we're back, Julius. We're back. It's 2023. We're going to talk about some good stuff. Well, some good stuff today. The other stuff is not so good, and we won't get into that right now. But to begin, Julius, we're going to talk about our Black businesses, the importance of Black business in our communities. And so I'm going to turn over to you to kind of launch us into that conversation.
Well, today we got all types of businesses. Today we got city government. We got young artists. We're supposed to have a couple of other people. I don't know whether they're going to show up. They had prior engagements, but we have Councilman Rufus Bright from Port Wentworth, the city of Port Wentworth, and we have Miss Teresa Lake
Yes.
from the city of Port Wentworth. Also, she's a administrator there. So they'll be talking about the first ever Black History Month in Port Wentworth history, and we also have some interior vision and design.
Right.
The husband and wife team that is does some amazing work, and so we're going to be talking about those small Black businesses for the first hour. Second hour, we'll be joined by some other hosts who will be helping us discuss the sad situation in Memphis, Tennessee, with the 5 Black officers beating to death a Black motorist. So that's the second hour. The first hour, we'll be talking to these great people here. So y'all share, and invite everybody to come in and watch. We want to make sure that this Pope Wentworth event, which I'll put on the board before we get started, we want to make sure that is well attended, and we have everybody there. It is the Saturday, February 18th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. right at City Hall. Behind City Hall, the 2 big lots behind City Hall is where it all be. We got all different types of things, and I'm going to let Miss Lake and Councilman Bright talk about it, but I just wanted to show y'all the flyer. This is the first ever Black History Month celebration in Port Wentworth. So we can go from there.
All right. Somebody.
Ladies first, always.
Okay. Well, why don't we start here? Let's do some small introductions, and we want to keep it at 30 seconds or less because you all have great information, but let's to be, time conscious and also fair to everyone on the show. So, Chris, if you could tell us briefly, about your work, and you are a small business and an artist and so many talents, but tell us a little bit about what you offer and how you kind of navigate that space.
Okay, definitely. Well, first and foremost, hello. How's everybody doing? Beautiful people. My name is Chris Smith, but I'm also known as 2 Benji. That is my artist name. I am a rapper and poet. Basically, about my business, being an artist is a business. I like to look at my music like real estate, and basically the listeners as tenants. So it's always different aspects to a business that comes with whatever you do. And alongside that, I also am an author as well. And I have my first book beside me. And this is called Chose Me, You Can Too. And basically what this book is a few different things lessons that I've come forth that I know can really aid and assist other people. Yeah. That I know that can aid and assist other people just on their journey. And it's also an affirmations journal. So basically affirmations is just different things that you can write and really write down in your journal. There's a lot of power that comes with writing different things and putting those blessings out. So that's basically just a little bit more about me. I'm also working for Our Black Media Network. I do a lot of work behind the scenes with as far as recording sticks and everything behind the scenes. So you'll definitely always just be seeing me around. But that's basically the gist about me.
Well, Chris, I want to definitely get a copy of that book. I'm working with a few other folks here in Savannah. And what I'm going to commit to do is we're going to buy a copy for all the young youth in Savannah to make sure they have that those affirmations to move forward. So I'm glad you shared
Yes,
that.
sir.
So we're gonna support you.
Yes,
By the
thank you
way,
so much.
folks, when you look at my stories about the campaign, we're using Two Benji's music. So go back and check our stories. We're always using his music for our promo. We got my little sister and brother-in-law, Interior Visions and Designs. Tell us about what you all do.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Ronald Hazard, and this is my wife, Lakita Bailey Hazard. And we have been in the construction business for about 25 years. We specialize in interior design, cabinets, countertops, floors, trim. If you want something like something out of a magazine, we try to duplicate your concept and ideas. We've been in construction for a while. We're licensed and insured. You can see our work. We have a site in Interior Visions and Design live on Facebook. You can see us in motion all the time. Yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. And we're glad to be a part of what you guys got going on. We really love and respect Mr. Bryant, and we're happy to meet new artists and people that represent our cities and on the issues that's concerning us. We thank you guys for even allowing us to be a part of it.
Well, glad to have you all. And, you know, if y'all want to see some of the work they do, stop by the house. And then again, y'all on Facebook. And we're going to talk more about that as we go through the broadcast of how people can find y'all on social media and your websites. And so with that, is it Teresa? I don't want to say your name wrong.
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome. I got it right. I'm happy.
Yes. Yes. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Teresa Lake. I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland, where we do things big. I've been in just Savannah, Georgia for about 7 years now, and just recently started employment with Port Wentworth. I'm the administrative assistant to the city manager, and I came to meet Mr. Rufus in that process. I was a little upset with the fact that Port Wentworth did not do their part when it came to the MLK parade, and decided that something needed to be done. Again, coming from Baltimore, we celebrate our culture all the time. There are pockets of Black communities, there are dance troupes, there are artists, there are visionaries, and that's what I'm used to. But when I moved here, I discovered that wasn't the same thing. So I have to do my part and do what I must. So I went to Mr. Rufus and I, said, I want to do a Black History program. And he was in well agreement with me. So that's how we came up with this idea to do it. So yes.
Well, I'm glad what you're talking about is promotion. We're going to talk about that as well, as how our communities can not only become a stronger promoter of their businesses, but how it's so important in that whole process of sharing what you got going on. Councilman Bright, let's shift to you. You're doing it all out there. You're doing it all out here.
Well, I appreciate that, but my vision is that Port Wentworth is moving. And when Ms. Lake came to me, I was like, that's a wonderful idea, because we haven't had this in over 66 years in Port Wentworth. So when she told me the concept, it was nothing that I wouldn't do to make this happen. We have resistance. We had different things that people came up and didn't want this to happen. But thanks be to God, it's going to happen. And we're fighting hard to get the things that we need to support us as African Americans. Port Wentworth is basically was a sundown city. We're changing that look. That's what we're working towards. We're changing how people receive us and see us. That's the whole basis of me running for office. And that's why I'm here. And I thank Ms. Lake for, she gave me a task, and I said, it's nothing that I cannot do as long as God is on my side. And we're at a point now that it's going to happen. And after that, we're going to have Juneteenth. So keep us in your radar, because we're promoting things that are going to change the dynamics of Port Wentworth. And we don't want that sundown city legacy anymore.
Right. And the questions we present, everyone won't have a chance to answer, but we do want to have a lively discussion. So feel free to engage your questions or to jump in where you want. But I want to send this to the Hazards and to Chris. Ruth, you started with something that's very important to me, and that's spirituality. So when we think about spirituality in our communities and starting businesses and getting that spiritual calling, how does that look for you all? And I want to send that to Interior Visions and Design and to Chris, if y'all can respond to that for us. Go ahead, Chris. We'll start.
Well,
Okay.
Go ahead, Ron.
Well, it's a personal thing for one. It embodies you as one. You got to be loyal to yourself before you can be loyal to it. You know what I'm saying? You got to be truthful with, you want to be a business owner, so you got to pay yourself last. There's things that you got to understand that's going to happen in order to, to even be, I guess, on the journey. Because success comes as you on the journey, not with the journey. You know what I mean? So
right.
You just got to embody it the right way, and you got to pick your craft. I mean, some people choose hair. Some people choose, commentary. Some people, it depends on what you feel you're great at. We feel we're great at construction, interior. We feel we are some of the best designers. You have to have that level of confidence to even be in this business, any business. It all based on how much confidence that you have in yourself. Because the minute you set out on that journey, everything's going to try to turn you around. Everything's going to present the failure. That's a part of it. The presentation of failure is going to be all on that journey. Every day, not one day, every day. It's going to be something that hits you that's not going to go right. It's going to try to discourage you from that journey. But if you love what you're doing, you'll always get around it. You'll always stick to what you're doing. And then once you see that as a pattern, you'll know that confidence is the fire that's going to always take you through whatever in your business. So if you don't love it that much, you'll never have that fire. I have a lot of respect for the brother as an artist, because I understand the fire that you have to have, the dedication. You have to make music for people that they might not know what they need to hear. People listen to what is being presented to them and pushed on them. So when you can make music just from the heart and from your soul and touch people and feel as if that's a business, you really well on your way, because that's the confidence. So I think it's all based on confidence and loving exactly what you're doing. And you can love multiple things. You can be talented. You can be multi-talented. So, that's my take on it. We love what we do. I know it's people that's good at it. I know it's people that's great at it. But we feel we're just as good and we feel we're just as great. So that's what we stand on, that confidence. We don't tear anyone else down. We're not taking from anyone else. But we just feel we're very good and great at what we do. And I think that's what carry people, in business, that attitude of confidence.
Yeah, you got to have that passion. You got to have that determination that nobody can do it like you, or you can do it at a higher level, at just as high a level as anybody else. I haven't seen the work yet. I'm going to come over there and watch the finished product because I need some work done too. So we'll see exactly what you're doing over there. And we're going to see if we can get you over here. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mr. Bryant got some projects on.
Chris I think Chris will jump in on us right quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was beautifully and well said. Like, really take the words out of my mouth as well. Like, it's really believing in the unseen, and it's really like you really got to. And then I feel like that's where that spirituality aspect comes in as well. Like, you have to have a deeper sense of why you are actually even doing what you're doing. And And a big part of that I can just say from my journey that's really been helping and assisting me is really just having the proper group around to be able to bounce those ideas off of, be able to have that motivational speaks with, like even have a conversation with Mr. Hall. He gives me a lot of advice. That's basically my mentor, you know, and different people around, Mr. Brian as well, and so forth like that. So really just having powerful people around that's doing things that you would like to be doing as well, that you wouldn't mind getting advice from and so forth like that. Like that really plays a lot of these different parts. And you really gotta date. Really how you dating yourself is how the business is gonna come out. Because however you are is how the business is gonna come out as well. So you just gotta have a deeper passion for what it is.
All right, Julius, you got a question for us?
I wanted to see whether his wife wanted to say anything about the business, because you know you hardly see women in that profession.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, absolutely. I get it a lot. People think that I'm just a camera girl. I'm just the one that's there for moral support. But I mean, I actually got into the business because we were actually trying to bring in a family, trying to build a business of my nephews, my cousins, and, you know, keeping what my grandmother set forth for us: family, love, you know, love for God, you know, respect for others. So, you know, I brought them in, but, you know, of course it didn't work. So I ended up learning it on my own. So I got into the business and it became a beautiful thing for me, because I learned that I can just watch this man do these things and just catch on to it. So we became a better team. It helped our marriage. It helped bring us closer as one, because now I can appreciate what God have given me as a husband, because we have a past, you know, we came from nothing. So when I saw what he can do, I'm like, I'm going to school, going in debt, trying to make a living for us, and you actually can do something with your hands. So when I saw what he can do, I'm like, you built that? Man, what are we doing? We need to be in business. So with that, I took what I learned, because I attended Savannah State, so I took what I learned from the marketing program that I was in at the moment from that, and we ran forward. And we took what he knew, because he went to South University, and, you know, his knowledge of that, we just kept praying and putting what we knew together. I mean, from the little bit of marketing that I knew and from his talent, man, we just started reinvesting, buying tools and everything, trying to include people. So we steady trying to include everyone, and I'm steady working at all these jobs. And I was like, man, I need to start working for myself. So once I grabbed hold of that, stepped out on faith, quit all these jobs that I was working for years, you know, because of that security and that scared of, you know, stepping out on faith. When I looked at what we had, I said, we're going to do this. So we started doing it, and man, we sold our first job out of our backyard. We didn't even have a shop. These people believe in us. He broke down on the landings. And, you know, Ron is not a quiet guy. When he needs something, he going to go ask. So he knocked on door to door in the landings. You know, these folks looking at him like, you got these tattoos in this bald head. What you doing? You know, like, why you knocking on my door? He's like, man, I broke down in here, you know, and I need a jump. Can you help me? And man said, well, let me go over here and see what you're doing, making all this noise. So long story short, the guy came, oh man, this work is beautiful. I'm building a house down the road. Can you guys come down here and give me an estimate? First job, out the gate, me quitting school and him working for numerous of people. And the guy blessed us. He was like, man, it was like a $40,000 job. And we was in business, and we went forward from there, man. And, you know, we trained people, we hired and fired, but we never stopped going. So, you know, it's all about that faith. It's all about believing in yourself. You know, you can't change the plan. Like, once you had that idea, you know, you can't let nothing stop your focus. So, you know, it's all about, you know, people can say it's Christianity, you got to be a Muslim, it's whatever you believe in. So I always say, whatever makes you be a better person, you know, believe in that, you know, because we can get it twisted on, you know, what faith, you know, because when people, you know how I was raised Catholic. You know, my grandmother, you know, she raised us as Catholics. We're African-American Catholics. I go to St. Benedict the Moore Catholic Church. So, you know, with that being said, you know, everybody can look at me and like, oh, I thought you went to a Baptist church. No, it don't matter what church you come from. It's all about your faith, you what's rooted in you as a person. So I believe on family. I believe in faith. I believe in togetherness. So we're looking for people that want to learn this craft, because I feel what we have to offer, this can help get our Black guys, our Black young women off the street, and give them something to, appreciate. Because when I build this stuff, when I install these cabinets in these bathrooms and these numerous houses, I feel good about myself. I said, man, I did that. I can see it. I done did a lot of things. I done spoke. I done did a lot of different. I done serve. I done did a lot of things. But when I go and I change people's lives inside their home, and they live with those things that I left with them for years, I feel good about it. Because I also leave them a piece of me, because I like to talk. So when I come in your house, I'm gonna leave you a piece of my personality. I'm gonna leave a piece of my work in there. So you're gonna always remember me. So
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. One of the things you said so much, and wow, I mean that was a lot. But one of the things I want to do, Teresa, when we come back from commercial break, is to talk about what it was so much you said, but what I want to pull from that, Teresa, is transferable skills and how that shows up as we create our businesses, as we create ideas. And so after commercial break, if you can speak on that. And what I'm about to show you all, this guy up above me, Chris, he created this.
all right.
back. So Teresa, if you can kind of hop onto that topic for us, or that question.
Well, what I didn't tell you was that I'm also a business owner. I have a crab cake business. I have several businesses, but my main one is my crab cake business. And it started through my grandmother, who was a professional pastry chef. And I didn't find that out until she passed in 2015 at 100 years of age. But what she left with me was that believing in yourself, believing that you can do anything that you set your mind to do. She raised me to, so some of the funniest things she would say was, you want to be mediocre today? Get away from me. So with that, you know, you never want to disappoint, but that helped me to strive to do better, to be a better me day by day. So yeah, that faith, that believing in yourself, that knowledge that you can do whatever you set your mind to do, even the things that you don't think you can do. You're never given a thought without a resource. So when something is set in your mind, there are always resources behind you to help push you to achieve that goal.
Awesome. That is awesome. So, Councilman Bright, you're the wheel behind making all this happen. You and Ms. Lake, but you had to go and exert that position of making sure that it get done. So tell us what your vision for this, for now and for in the future, for this for the project for the first annual Black History Month in Port Wentworth.
Well, Mr. Hall, I've heard everybody saying something, and I want to give you a little quote from the Bible. To thy own self be true. I don't care if you are Muslim, you Catholic, whatever. To thy own self be true. I had a determining mother that pushed us. And it's ironic that the interior people are there, because when I was in Detroit, I had my own construction company for 30 years. So I know what y'all doing, and I appreciate y'all. But I had to be true to myself. I came back home because I started out to be a lawyer. That's what I went to school to be. And it wasn't my calling, or what you want to say. It didn't fit with me. So I went to seminar school. So I graduated, I got a bachelor's degree in religious education. I come back home and I see the things that's going on. And I always say this, God put you in a place to achieve, not to underachieve. So I kept thinking about what's going on in Port Wentworth. First time I ran, I got cheated. Second time I ran, in fact, you was a part of it, Mr. Hall. You said some choice words to me and said, get off my job. And I was angry because I'm saying, who is this man telling me this? But I listened. And that's the thing that we have to do, listen sometimes, because God will give you something that you're not expecting from that person, but it'll help you progress to be better. In this event, Miss Lake came to me and she was like, what we gonna do? I say, what you wanna do? She said, we wanna have this first Black History Month. That's all she had to tell me.
I didn't know
from there.
I didn't know it was the first one.
Well, I made sure you knew. I went, started getting sponsors, solicitors, and everything that I could possibly do with my position. I also went to the city manager. I said, look, this is going to happen. I didn't give him a choice of it might happen. I said, this is going to happen using my position, being true to myself. This thing is getting bigger and bigger each day. What my future aspects is, they get bigger than what it is now. And we see that it's going to be bigger because the citizens, the people outside of Port Warren said they never had that. But we do. To thy own self be true. This would never come about if Miss Teresa didn't trust me to go out and do the things she asked me to do. Sometimes we're condiments of what God would have us to do. We gotta listen and we gotta follow what we're being led to do. And that's what I'm doing. Following what I'm being led to be done. And it's gonna be one terrific event. And I got to put this plug in. The Weeping Time is going to be there. And a lot of y'all don't know about the Weeping Time, but I'm a part of the Weeping Time. You are too, Mr. Hall. You're part of Weeping Time. We need to know about our Black history, about our Blacks that have been contributed to different things that help us get to this point. 4 Black councilmen on city council in Port Wentworth, that was unheard of. But now it's a historical event. My goal is to make this city better than what it was. I'm being true to myself. I'm being led by my spirit of doing what God would have me to do. I'm a licensed, I've been in the ministry for 40 years. I'm licensed, I'm ordained, and I got paperwork degree. But to me, I said, like the Bible said, Paul said it, all that is done to me because if I'm not doing what will help the people, without vision, the people perish. So my vision is making Port Wentworth better than what it ever was.
That's powerful. And Councilman Brian, I'm going to position a question, but you said something important, and I want the viewers to know that in Chatham County and in the city of Savannah, anyone that does not support Weeping Time does not deserve your vote. And I'm on the record to say it, but question here, does Port Wentworth have incentives or programs to establish minority businesses? And Julius and I talked about this a little bit, and I think there's opportunity there for minority-owned businesses, but I'll let you and if you, Teresa, and Julius want to kind of respond to that question.
Ladies first.
I'm not even certain if they do. In preparing for this event, it has been difficult finding minority businesses in Port Wentworth. I'm not used to that. I'm used to going on the corner and finding any type of business I need, Black owned. I find that the majority of the time when I need to go and promote Black businesses, I have to go to Atlanta. And I don't like that. That's the closest place I can go to other than, Jacksonville, but Atlanta. And that doesn't seem right to me. I should be able to walk outside my door and go to a black market, a black seamstress, a black dry cleaner, a black construction company, but I don't see it. No.
Yep, we should. And it's probably embedded under layers and layers of not doing things for a long time. And my job is to open up those layers so that they can find the resources they need to bring black businesses here. Basically, people have been afraid to come to Port Wentworth because of our police department and so on and so forth. That's what I'm working to break up so that they would be knowing that you're welcome to come to Port Wentworth. As far as minority money, there's grant. Ms. Therese is a grant writer. Wow. We can go to her and get those grants written for these small businesses. But we can't make you come out. You have to come out and inquire about it. I'm pushing as much as I can. Ms. Lake is pushing as hard as she can. But people, my mom always said this: you can't make a horse drink water. You gotta want to drink water.
And if I could shift the conversation slightly, because I think it's very important that, as large corporations give back to the community, we also know that our small businesses and our black businesses give back to the community. One thing I see from the Hazards, and I've seen with Chris, is how they mentor the younger generation. So I want to talk about, and we'll start with the Hazard family, talk about how you all give back to the community. Talk about how you are bringing up the next generation of our community, our youth. And then Chris, if you can respond to that as well. So we'll start with you, Keena.
Okay, well, first we have to raise awareness. We have to even let the people know that these things even exist. So that's what I had to actually find out what revenue to let these things be known. Just like what the last young man was talking about the things that you offer, about the grant writing and all that. I mean, how are the people finding about these things? So it's like we have to make sure that the community know that they need these things first and that it's being offered. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, like even Juneteenth, I didn't even know anything about Juneteenth until someone came and said, hey, we doing something on 34th Street Park. This day, June 19th, it's called Juneteenth and whatever. I was like, really? So I started doing my history about it, but none of the young people know about these things. So we have to do our part as that. So that's where I struggle. So I do social media. I try to promote to some of my friends who have young teen kids, age that's willing to learn, but some of these kids are just so tied up into these video games and the parents allow it. So it's like, you have to find these parents that want to redirect their kids to even get this, but then they have to know it's available and they have to know that we're going to be there to protect them, and they can learn something. Because my thing is, what I try to tell everyone who I come encounter with, I'm teaching you a trade. I'm paying you to learn something that you can take with you for the rest of your life. You don't even have to work for me after this. But if you learn it enough, you can go work for a cabinet shop. You can go make something. You can go in the backyard and make your own, your own cabinet if you stick with it long enough to learn. But like I said before, we have to make sure that when we offer these things that they're going into the households that need it, that people hear about it. Because there's so many programs that I want to be a part of, like, man, that happened. Why didn't I hear about it? And that comes from funding. We don't always have the money to make the commercials and all of that. That's why we have to come together as unity, because if you have this podcast, you have, you may have access to radio ad that you can get, some radio ads for a discounted price. We may have to get together and do that, so we can raise awareness, so we can get the people to get the help, so that we can make the community better.
Ron, did you want to add to that, or?
She said a whole lot. She pretty much cleared it up. It's a fight. We can go as far as saying good and evil, bad and good. whatever we want to call it. But if it's something always driving to destroy our kids and destroy our youth, then there should always be something driving to replenish them and to build them and put it up, build them up and pull them up. And we do it through exposing them through this. There's alternatives. You don't have to try to work at McDonald's. You can actually learn something and do it, and it's productive and it's creative and it's yours. We also do studio recording for them. That's why I was so interested in the young guy up here that you was talking about, that Chris, that do the creative side of things. Those are the things we need to expose them to, because the problem is we're allowing the media to raise our kids. We're allowing the media to shape our adolescence. We are allowing them to do it. We can't sit back and just point the finger and say, oh man, these kids are bad, they're ridiculous. No, we're sitting right there and watching it right before our eyes. And the funny thing is, us as adults and leaders of the generation up under us, we instead of us getting vigilant and more creative about our ways of reaching, no, we get scared. And that's where the problem coming in. You get what I'm saying? There's no way that me, as a 46-year-old man with so much to offer to these kids, will I ever fear them. I will never fear them, because if you fear them, then you cannot communicate with them. You may have to find an approach, but fear is going to cut it all the way out the picture for you, because they smell fear. They like bloodhounds. They smell fear, so they don't want to hear you. But when they know someone is authoritative, when they know someone has something to offer them, when they know that you're not playing and you're a very serious adult, that's when you have their attention. I don't care if it's the worst of them. I have a background of my own that I know from personal experience that they just need people constantly reaching.
Yes, that's right. Chris, what you doing? Chris about to open that on up. Well, all right, Julius.
Well, let me go here, because you keep running over me.
I'm gonna let you do the show.
No, you asked me to comment a minute ago and then went to another subject.
I watch that come 1 o'clock. I ain't gonna be able to talk. Now watch.
No. I'm talking about with this subject with Paul Wentworth.
I got you. Okay.
And what I want to do is, I'm not in government, but I'm a part of the citizens here. Everybody in there I know, and I try to work with to bring change to Paul Wentworth. I do everything on the outside. We want everybody to understand that Paul Wentworth has changed. There's no longer a sundown city. It's no longer a speed trap city. We want people to understand that they can come here and spend. There's not a lot here to spend with besides hotels and a few other establishments. But we're trying to bring everything here so people can stop in and spend their monies here, as long as it stays in Chatham County. Yes, there needs to be, one of the viewers said, Natalie said, incentive programs to bring minority businesses here. That's probably something that Councilman Bright and the city council needs to look at. We need to attract businesses here that will be staples here, because people were scared to come here. Nobody wanted to come here. Things have changed. This is a minority black city now. A majority black city now. It went from 3,500 people to almost 15,000 people overnight. It's the second largest growing city in the state of Georgia. So we want people to come here. We want to build the infrastructure so you can bring your kids here, have great schools in Chatham County, and to flourish here, to raise your kids. There are new homes being built in all 5 major communities here. So it's a lot of room, with all the migration coming from out of Savannah to the west. So they're coming to Port Wentworth and Pooler and Bloomingdale. But we want y'all to come to Port Wentworth. Things have changed. There's new sheriffs in town now. So y'all just need to give Port Wentworth a look. Councilman Bright and I were having lunch with a gentleman yesterday that want to probably locate his restaurant here, you know? So it's just being in the right situation and advocating for the city. And I know that Councilman Bright, Councilman Barbie, and Councilman Mark Stevens, and Councilwoman Nelson, I know that is what they're doing, along with Ms. Lake. And you know, just keep an eye on us. If you have an idea of where you want that you want to start a business, look at Port Wentworth. That's all I'm asking.
That's great stuff, Chris. If you could, we're gonna get your comment on the previous question, and we'll do another commercial break, and we'll come back and talk about how do people find you all on your websites and social media. So, Chris, if you can jump in on kind of what Ron and Keita commented on earlier.
So it is a battle for the intention of all of our youth, including myself, that I'm a part. I'm still growing. I'm 23 years old, and the thing about that comes into place when I just make sure, as I'm growing and elevating in my journey, I leave different, you know, bulbs of light, of orbs of energy, basically, whether if that comes out in books, whether that comes out in music, whether that comes out in seminars, or whatever that does, so that people can just be growing and learning in that age range. So something that I am doing right now that I'm a part of is a program called Creating Creative Creatives. It's a new program that I created last year, but now that we was able to get the funding and so forth like that, shouts out to Rainy Day Funds organization, which is owned by my mother. But now we be able to get the funding, we're able to put this into action now. And that's basically a 12-week program that's really created to analyze, identify, and ignite, because we all have creative superpowers and creative energies. And my goal is to make sure that anybody, no matter the age range, but my focus is on 12 through 17 years old, because those were the ages that I really had a lot of experiences, so forth like that, and trying to help identify myself. But basically, for those people in that age range to be able to know that you got creative energy, creative superpowers, and you can apply it to whatever realm you want, no matter if you're doing designing, construction, it don't matter whichever realm. It's just I want people to be able to have that energy and that energetic thing. So that's what I'm doing in my realm. I'm not only doing that, you can also volunteer yourself. Like, I like to keep it simple for the people. A lot of people feel like they gotta have so much money to get things done and so forth like that. This is why I want to bring up the collaboration efforts, like really just reaching out and just asking. A lot of these places you can go into for free as long as you're just talking to the right people. Those relationships really can unlock a lot of different doors. So I just tend to, whether I'm just looking on Eventbrite or going down for Google, or just going to places that I actually want to be in, and just saying what's different places that I can actually volunteer and just help out. I may not have 3 to 5 hours to dedicate, but I probably got 45 minutes to an hour. And a lot of times, just over time, building that up, it can make a big impact. It can make a huge impact, you know, and go around. So that's what we're doing right now.
All right. We're going to show another video, of course. Who made it? Chris, of course. So, you know, if you want commercials or ads, definitely reach out to Chris, and then come back, and we want to hear how do people find your businesses so that they can support you all. We'll be right back. The city of Savannah has always been known for its African-American culture, especially in the 5th District, where I live. Over 50 years ago, my mother and father developed a home in the 5th District, in Liberty City to be exact. And since that time, we have lost our voice and struggled to find the really great leadership that makes us really proud. Our culture, our heritage, and our land have been questioned. But if you join me, Robert Bryant, next year in 2023, we can get to work and believe in change that we can all be proud of. So join me, let's believe in the change, and together we will make District 5 stronger. Thank you. All right, great job again, Chris. I remember you doing your due diligence and making that, so I appreciate you. But if we could, let's start with Interior Visions and Designs. Tell people where you are on social media, your website, how they get in contact with you, and how you can get in their homes and do some renovations and construction.
Okay, you should have did it. Yes, you go hit it in there.
Before y'all do that, one thing I want to say I enjoy about you two, you rarely see a partnership or a husband and wife working together, but you all do it well. You're happy, and you're a model. You're an example of what it could look like. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, you know who the boss. You know who the boss is.
No comment. Yeah, no comment.
Yeah, well, you can catch us on Facebook. It's under Interior Visions and Design, and you can. It's a lot of different examples of some of the work we do. So you can start there. You can contact us through there. All numbers, all information, ideas for what you may want is on there. You can see us in action doing the work. You know, we try to send people there because a lot of times when we're soliciting business, a lot of Caucasians don't understand that we're Black people. So we send them to that site so they can see who's coming to their house. You know what I mean? So a lot of times we've had issues with them not understanding that, we're Black, and then we get to the house and then all of a sudden they don't need the work done anymore. So
that's another topic.
That's a whole nother topic, yeah. But yeah, you can go there. You can see us, in full-fledged work mode. Anything from tile, flooring to walk-in showers if you want to change your bath into a shower. Just any wild thing you may want to do in here. That's what we like to take on.
Yeah, and we take small spaces and we make the most out of them. So if you have like a small area that's empty and you want something creative to, make it work, we do all of that. So any wild ideas, anything interior, we do. So my number is 912-412-1748. We're easy to talk to. You can reach out, send a text message. Whenever you're ready, the possibilities are endless, is what I always tell my customers. So we're looking forward to hearing from you guys and working with you guys in the community. We're looking forward to helping Port Wentworth. I'm glad to hear about everything you guys are doing. That's awesome. I didn't know that was going to be the first. Wow. I've been to a parade in Port Wentworth like when I was a kid. I think it was like a Veterans Day parade. And that's the only thing that I ever heard that Port Wentworth ever done since my childhood. And that wasn't just, nothing commemorating us. So to hear that you guys are doing that, we're on board. Just let us know how we can help you guys. We want to be there that day. So I'll be in touch with Mr. Bryant so we can try to set out that day so we can come and show out for our people, and represent. I'm proud of you guys. Thank y'all for coming together.
We appreciate you. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Yes,
and here's another shout out. I love to say this because I'm big on this. City of Savannah, City of Port Wentworth, all of our municipalities throughout the state of Georgia. We need more Black contractors. Start hiring them, especially City of Savannah, because we love to go to the same contractors that don't look like us. City of Savannah, J. Melder, here's a great example of what we can be doing. Teresa, tell us about your businesses and how they can find you.
We're on we should be on the City of Port Wentworth website. I can be contacted at tlake@cityofportwentworth.com. Mr. Rufus can give his information, but we should be on and I'm in the office of the city manager. I work at City Hall. So if anybody needs to contact me, I'm at extension 514.
All right, Chris, if you could tell us about, where they can find you, your music. You're on a lot of platforms, and where they can buy your book.
Alrighty, so yes, once again, my artist name is 2Benji. That's number 2, BENJII. You can find me on all social media platforms. Once again, that's number 2, BENJII. And also, if you would like to get my music, purchase my music, and purchase my book, and also we got a merch line that's coming, you can go to our website. That's 2benjient.com, which is number 2, BENJIIENT.com. You can find everything on there.
Awesome. And Councilman Bryant, anything you want to add? Your businesses or where they can find you? They might want you to come be a guest speaker. Share your information.
Well, like Miss Lake said, you can get my website off the Port Wentworth page. But most of the things that I'm doing now, since I'm retired, thank God, well, I'm not retired, but I'm still working. I have my personal Facebook page is the_RU9329 at yahoo.com. You can reach me there, and that's outside of the city work. I do ministry work, I do outreach work, and I used to do ministry at the prison until COVID came, and I do outreach work at nursing homes. So those are my things that keep me busy. Those are things I love. And like leaving this with you, if you don't love what you're doing, you shouldn't be doing it.
Amen.
That's it. So what we're about to do, we're going to transition to our second discussion. All of you are welcome to stay for the second discussion, and we're going to talk about, and excuse my language, but we're going to talk about these idiots in Memphis. And so we're going to hit a commercial break, another one or two Benji's productions, and then we'll come back, and Julius will, I know you have a interesting position in that whole conversation, so we can kind of jump. We're going to talk about that catastrophe, and just, it's sad, but hold tight. We'll be right back. Take off because this is a tough talk. Good to have you, Bernard Brown. America After Dark is tonight.
Well,
Sandra.
I was
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
What's up,
Sandra.
Sal?
I was trying to tell our guest thank you and everything, Robert, but you was too fast. I was trying. You see my head? I was showing you my head. You got to watch the screen. Yeah, I was trying to tell him thank you. And I was gonna put the thing up one more time for him, but we're gonna put it up and talk about it again. Don't y'all forget that we got the Pope Wentworth. If y'all could be in town, Pope Wentworth first ever Black History Month celebration. Y'all come February 18th out there in back of City Hall. We're going to have a great time. We thank Councilman Bright, and we thank the city, one of the city representatives, Teresa Lake, for being here. And we thank the Hazads for coming on and talking with us. That was our business segment and our community event segment for today. We got a special 2-hour show today, and I don't know where Bernard gone. He probably in the car and losing the signal. But we this last hour we're going to talk about 45 minutes or so about the Memphis police killing, and it wasn't just a beating; it was a killing. And we need to make sure that everybody understands and knows that. But we can go from there with it, Robert.
Okay. Well, and you know, I'll start with this. I think there's so much there, and I'll just say this. Just follow me on this, because I think anybody who watched the video, there are no words. There are no answers. It's just. So I'll say, I had a conversation with a good friend of mine last night, and two sides to this coin is this. You have this police brutality piece that we see far too often. You have the whole African-American male getting killed, the police thing that we see far too often. The other side of that coin is you have us hurting us using power, position of power. And it's just interesting that now what's going to happen is they're going to be used as an example, whereas our counterparts don't necessarily, that doesn't show up like that. So, Chandra, what are your thoughts? That's just where I want to begin.
My thoughts is that I grieve for every Black mother right now. whether you have a black son or a black daughter, but our height of alarm over the years that we have had to watch this play out, in America, it has been substantiated, and this is the crescendo of what we've been saying all the time. It did not matter that those officers were black to me. It mattered that this is a system of corruption, a system that allows, a group of people to be thugs on our streets, and we pay them to terrorize and kill and maim and rape, in some cases, our citizens. And then I need to bring this right back to our president, who has been sitting on his hands since he can always relate. Biden is the most relatable president we've ever had, because he's always talking about his children that's been killed, his wife that's been killed. And I appreciate that he is an empathetic president. But I need that empathetic president to transcend into being an action president and putting action to his empathy. Because we've been waiting on this transformation in policing bill ever since George Floyd had his neck stepped on for 9 minutes in the middle of a street. So then, when does it stop?
Yeah, and I definitely want you all to just use this as, we're not going to put time limits on conversation, but Bernard, your reactions.
You know what? You see my eyes red because I'm sorry. I'm a very emotional person. I've been crying ever since. And my brother Ike, we've been crying ever since we seen this video. Man, it's a shame. I'm always talking about the white man doing this, the white man doing that. This should be personal to us. These black men beat this man to death, beat one of their brothers to death, broke the man's neck. I have never seen nothing like this in my whole life. For you to do a human being like the way they did that, and then people standing around, and people don't understand. Let me tell you this here. Who was orchestrating all this was that one white man who was standing there too. Okay? And for you to beat this man the way you beat this man, every last one of them, it should be a death penalty. This is my opinion. It should be my opinion, not our black media or anybody's opinion. And what's so crazy about it, every color in this United States got a hate crime law except the black people. So they're telling y'all that they can do whatever they want to do to us anytime they want to do it. And it's like a hate crime. So at the end of the day, this is somebody's parent. This is somebody's child. This woman lost her child, 80 foot away from him being home. And the man was begging for his life and asked them what's wrong. Man, it's crazy, man. Enough is enough.
And I saw that what you were talking about, Bernard, with the one guy, and I said, well, why that guy did that look like? Let's look at these guys. Because I don't see none of them looking light skinned. Ain't none of them lighter than Robert to me. Don't look like. It is in their uniforms. I don't see where any of them are light skinned. I saw a light skinned or white looking guy with a bald head swinging a baton. I don't know whether y'all saw it. I saw, well, why that guy there? He look white. He there, why he ain't charged?
Yep. It's a white guy. It's the white guy.
And so you just can't make these guys scapegoats. You know, they got the all the videos, and you can see all the videos, but I heard they suspended 2 more guys with the sheriff department. So hopefully that's who that was, because he was swinging and everything. And Bernard, they go, your favorite guy right there. He's everywhere all the darn time. It takes a national incident for him to be there. I guess he's needed though. But it should be some great lawyers in Memphis too that could handle that besides Ben Crump. He's on every case, every time looking for, he needs to be on some of these smaller cases also.
Yeah. I don't know. Me and this young lady had a discussion about it. And she said that the people, every time something come up and when Crunk and all of them, it's that the family called them. The family called them. It's constantly calling. And I didn't want to really get into the conversation making a debate. So I just went ahead and let my girlfriend just talk. I didn't want to get in a debate because I didn't want to start an argument. But at the end of the day, man, man, I'm telling y'all, man, I'm tired of this shit.
Yeah.
I'm tired of it. I'm not, what I'm about to say, I'm not saying people to pack and load it or whatever, but it's going to come a time, man, where it may be one of us.
Right.
It may be one of us.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, I'm fighting hell on hell to save my life. That's all.
And we used to think that, we had to be doing something, in order to be in a bad situation, because, every time something happens, you'll have the trolls that'll get down and say, well, why didn't he comply? Why didn't he do this? And why didn't he do that? And they try to give justification for a death. But in this situation, they didn't even tell this man why they jacket. I mean, he walked up to the man's car, opened the man's door, jacked the man out the car, but lied and said he was running from the car. Everything was a setup for them to try to get away with their crime, because they started setting it up at the site. He reached for my gun and I felt this, and they were all, they had already done this before, but nobody died when they did it before, but they've already done this pack of dogs. They were like a pack of dogs, and nobody is going to make me believe anything otherwise. And whoever their supervisor is, he needs to be fired too. He, she, whoever. Because if all of this is going on your watch, and you got road ass people, and you don't know what they doing, but this is the carrying on. You got a gang really going on your watch. You need to be fired too.
Yeah, if we could, Tiffany, if you want to go ahead and just chime in, what I want to tell our viewers is what I want our families and communities to do to process through talk. Don't go out here tearing up and burning up stuff and all that. Process with your families, pastors, community leaders. We need you to show up. We need to process this through talking, because what I don't want is us to tear up our communities. Tiffany, are you still with us? To kind of chime in, or go for it?
I am going to be totally honest with you guys. Watching that video will trigger me, and so I have chosen not to watch it. I seen the videos of the interviews with his parents, and as a mom, and also as the position that I carry, I work close with the local police department, and we have our discrepancies, but I hold them accountable. I hold them accountable for, you know, not even having a presence within communities that you want to police. It's triggering for me. I feel like that's trauma if I watch it. The trauma. So I have just, I prayed about it. I prayed about what was going to come after the video was released. I prayed for his family, his mom. And I also prayed for the police officers, because I feel like somewhere in their mind, they thought that they were going to be backed by the blue. And they forgot that at the end of the day, y'all are black. The blue is not going. You see how quick the chief hopped on national TV and condemned them to hell? Oh, we don't condone that. That was atrocious. But they didn't have that energy for the cops that killed George Floyd.
Yeah.
It took for St. Louis to be burned before they did anything to arrest them police. So because it was 5 black officers, that's why they were condemned. They were absolutely wrong. But they thought that they were going to be bagged by the blue. And so let this be a lesson to cops going forward, to treat people with dignity and honor, because at the end of the day, you're still a black man, whether you have on that badge or not. You don't have that same brotherhood that your counterpartner who's a little lighter than you have. And this is showing. If you see, you know what I mean? They had no, you know, they weren't going to back him, period.
Yeah.
They condemned him.
But no,
so
I
let this be a lesson. I seen another interview with one of the officers' lawyers who said that we had, you know, we're going to tell what we did. You know, we're going to say what happened. We're going to speak our piece. And so I just want to see how all of this unfolds. And it's so unfortunate. Like, why would you, you know, being a mother of five black boys, 4 black boys, and having 2 black nephews, not to mention the boys that I, you know, mentor and pour into, stuff like that, just, it triggers me and it angers me. And so I just chose not to voluntarily, you know, watch it. I know that it's brutal. I heard that it was brutal. And so no, I did not watch it.
Yeah, it's a lot. And you know, I talked to Sean late last night. I didn't sleep. The last time I didn't sleep was when my father passed. I didn't sleep at all last night. That was a lot. And Bernard, I want to talk to you because I can speak to Savannah. You can speak to Savannah. But one of the things that concerns me is the militarization of police. What I mean by that is police are not the military. You're to protect and to serve. And I made this post. You're not to be invading people's privacy. You're not to cuss folk out, because that was disturbing too. You're not to be beating folk. And one thing I can tell you, I've been in a situation where I was pulled over and then 5 officers appeared, and then you got this thing called a Savannah heat. We don't need all that. We need you to protect, serve, not to be some scorpion or some heat or some foolishness. To protect and serve. Why is that so hard, Bernard?
Yeah. You know what? I was saying the same thing on a couple of my videos. It's supposed to be protecting to serve, but at the end of the day, it's the people who supposed to be protecting us, killing us. They the one killing us. That protecting the service is go out the window. Now it's coming to a point where, remember we said this with George Floyd. We said this. We walk, we rally, and then we disappear, and then until it's gonna be happening again. Here we go again.
Absolutely.
It happened again.
Absolutely.
Happened again.
Absolutely.
And see, what it is that the white folks know we're going to march for 5 days and that's going to be it. And then we're going to go on about our way and then crunk all of them going by their way. I'm telling you right now, these guys are the most gutless, hateful, 5 individuals that would ever live on this earth. For those 5 punks to treat that man the way they treat that man, they should be crucified at the end of the day. And all the ones that sitting around looking, how you gonna sit around and let somebody this man to death? How can you sit around and look at that? I just don't get it, man. I'm tired I'm tired of being sick and tired. And at the end of the day, I'm telling you right now, I'm defending my family and defending y'all by any means necessary. So the heat is on. Just like you, damn it, wanna beat us, we have the right to turn around and beat y'all ass too.
Yeah.
And you tall, so you can do it.
Yeah, I feel like this is gonna open our eyes. Well, I feel like our eyes are already open. Yeah. But like you said, Bernard, after George Floyd, we rioted, we walked, and then we got real quiet. We got real quiet, real still. And now it's happened again. Because you know what? The government is banking on us to forget and not to do that. They're gonna be enraged for a minute, but they'll calm down. No, we have to be radical all the time. It has to be consistent. We have to consistently hold them accountable for the mess that they do to us. It's 2022 and we're still fighting. It's 2023 and we're still fighting the battles that our grandma and grandpa fought, that our ancestors fought.
Exactly.
And our money. We have a hospital. Black people spend so much money here in the United States. Not only that, but we built the United States, and for us to still continue to be treated like nothing, second-class citizens in 2023. We can't even do recreation centers within our communities. And like you said, Bernard, they're supposed to protect and serve, but what they're doing is keeping us in our place. But baby, we got a place for y'all too, but we have to be consistent. We have to be strategic. When Martin Luther King, when they marched, they were strategic. They held, you know what I mean? They held workshops on how to rally, on how to protest. Where are we? What are we doing?
Yeah. And we need to start showing up. We need to start showing up. It should not be the same five.
Absolutely.
Same, even down in Savannah, Bernetta and them would not be having so much pushback on that council and in that city if the people on their Facebook posts, all them hundreds, would show up for them at the council meetings and say, no, we don't appreciate this. And if you can show up for a one-time, protest downtown or wherever, you can show up at a downtown meeting and say, hey, what about the anti-policing bill? Hey, where are we with this? Hey, where are we with the small business this? Demand what it is, because I'm telling you, it's really amazing how the Asians never had to march. They never took one march. They never put a foot.
That's right.
Never put a poster up.
That's
saying,
right.
Stop beating us. It was just it was just final that no, we don't want anybody beating the Asians. And that was the same way with Jews, in
the LGBTQ.
It's because they know that what you don't want to be is canceled by the Jews, canceled by the Asians, or canceled by the LGBTQ. But they know that the black people in general, they gonna kumbaya with you. We shall overcome with you. They really don't care. At the end of the day, they don't care the way they say they care on Facebook and Instagram. They don't care like that.
And if I could offer this to Tiffany and Chandra, the one thing I will say about that chief of police, and this whole incident is so loaded, but I think part of what kicked in was, and when I'm talking about the police chief of Memphis Police Department, she's a mother and she's a black woman. And so what you don't do, and I tell people this all the time, and people might get mad with this, but the strongest creature on this earth is a black woman, period. And so as black mothers, I just want to hear, how did that, I couldn't imagine being a black woman or a black mother in that position and knowing that woman got on TV I'm just gonna stop because I ain't gonna just respond to that, Fannie Lou and Tiffany.
You know what's so crazy? I'm gonna say this here, and I'm saying directly to the President of the United States. I think it was an insult for you to call them, and then when you call them, you talking about the death in your family and your family. They didn't want to hear that. I didn't want to hear that. I want to hear, I am so sorry for what happened to your son, and I would definitely look into this, and they would definitely be prosecuted, and I would definitely do whatever I can to make sure that this would never, ever happen again in the United States. That's what he should have said. I don't want to hear about his family. At the end of the day, his son, okay, I'm sorry, but the last thing you want to hear is somebody talking about they member of their family. Dude, shut up. Shut up. I guarantee you, Obama would have never addressed that like that. Never. Never.
He just wants to
at the end of the day, man, I'm telling you.
He wants to be relatable. But to your question, it was gut-wrenching. It was gut-wrenching to hear that mother because you heard her heart. It's something about when your children call out for you. It's something when your kids call out for you and you can't get to them. And she's going to always have it in her mind. What if I could have? She was only 80 feet and could not save her baby.
How many mamas, how many boys, how many black bodies is it going to take for people to wake up for us as a race? If the nation, straight up, because the nation was built by us but does not care about us. So how many black people? I'm talking to black people. That's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to black mamas and black daddies. I'm talking to our black council people, the people that sit in the rooms that make policies and legislate. How many black mamas? How many of us is gonna have to cry out in front of the nation before anybody take heed to protect our boys when they walk out of the door? We pray for our boys. We cover our boys. We cover boys that's not even ours. We always have. It goes way back to our ancestors taking care of little white babies above their own son. How many black people? Black mamas, black boys, black daddies. How many is it going to take for us to wake up as a race to protect our own? I don't mean going out and buying a gun. I mean pouring into them, letting them know that you love them. So when they go out in the world, in the charismatic community, they know that they have somebody that they can call on. You know what I mean? And to your point, Sandra, I didn't watch the video for that reason. Just to see you shed tears. I know I would have walked out of this house angry if I watched that video. I have so much on me already. It's like a can. You just keep shaking. At some point, it's going to burst. But we have to be strategic, and we have to be consistent. We have to be consistent. We have to hold people accountable. With Memphis police, we have to hold them accountable. Because you know what? It's going to happen again. Those officers, they felt entitled to beat him. Being black especially, they felt entitled because they didn't think they were going to get in trouble. You know why? Because behind closed doors, there is somebody in leadership that's telling them that. They ain't just going out their own notion. Somebody made them feel like it's okay. You can do it. So we got to hold those people accountable as well. The supervisors, the chiefs. You can go on TV all day and say we don't condone this, but somebody condoned it enough for them to feel like it was okay for them to do it with body cams on. We done crying. We done crying. We done being apologetic about y'all killing our boys. Y'all are gonna have to start paying for it. Like marching is okay, but we have to start making we have to start making policies that's gonna hold people accountable for killing our boys. It's not a mistake when you just beat somebody over and over and over again. You knew better. You know better.
And kicking them in the head. Why? And then yesterday, what was so moving to me was, I don't know if y'all watch CNN, but there was this councilman. It was a male councilman from that area, from Memphis. He was talking to Don Lemon, and Don asked him a question, and this man just broke down. It wasn't fake. He could not move. He could not get past, because it wasn't a they thing. It wasn't them after us. It's a us after us.
And what it is, Sandra, it's something called internalized racism. And an internalized racism means that you have people of the same color hating their color. And so you have in this instance, you have black people that really don't care about black people. They figure that a black life, whenever they stop somebody black, they figure it's going to be a problem. They've already profiled you. Yep. So when the traffic stop happens, the first thing they do is think that something is going to happen. And internalized racism, these officers are working around people and they know that it's racist. So they can do things that they think that they can get away with. Yeah. And their supervisors this group was called the Scorpions. The Scorpions. It's a specialized drug unit. And they have to run into all types of guys all the time. All types of people all the time.
But they would have never. Julius, could you imagine that same officer going and jacking Jeremy out of his car? Jacking Jeremy out of his car and saying, get your ass out the car. And then just busting him upside the head. And then Jeremy saying, hey, you're doing kind of much, fella. And then them just spraying him in the face with pepper spray. And we would have never seen it in a million years.
And the only reason they knew where to find him was they ran his tag, so they knew to be in the area because he wasn't far from his house. So he was running home. So they were waiting on him to get in that area because he was running home. So they were waiting on him to come that way. They already ran his tag, knew he didn't stay far when he ran from them. And when they caught him there, and that's when they beat him some more. And that's where the real brutality took place at. But he was only three or four doors down from where he lived. He was calling out to his mother.
But even the police chief said they have scanned every one of them polls, the poll videos, and they cannot find a legitimate reason for why he was really stopped. So what was he really running from?
I have a friend in Memphis, and I was trying to get him on because he like Alicia them used to be. He goes around anytime the police stopping somebody, he's right there filming it, and he always got hood news. And so I was trying to get him on, but evidently he might be at work. But he was telling me about the Scorpions. It was like y'all remember back we had the Trap Squad in Savannah. Mm-hmm. And they're like the same unit, like the drug squad for Memphis, and it's called the Scorpions. supposed to be a group. The oldest one out of this whole group was 32 years old.
So they were only maximum 3 years older than this guy that they killed.
Yeah,
this guy could have been their brothers. Their brother, legit.
Yeah, see them all here. They all young boys. They all young. 32 is the oldest one. 32 was the oldest one. Yeah, that's them there in uniform. And they
need to give all of them at least 32 years in prison.
Yeah, and I can tell you, and I know one of the defenses would be, when you're a police officer, you're faced with so much every day. And I can tell you, for 10 years on the Savannah Police Department that I've seen it all. And nothing I haven't seen. I've almost been desensitized to it. I've seen people with their head cut off, people with their head blown off, people with their eyes hanging out their head. I done seen every kind of death there could be. Seen all kind of brutality. So, you get desensitized after a while of seeing all this. Those guys have to know at some point that you just can't be the person without, and then it's on video. If that other camera didn't catch it, they probably could have lied their way out of it. But that other camera that they didn't know about caught it, and they couldn't lie their way out of this. But they, when you talking about when you hate yourself, when you're scared to really be police officers for the citizens, what they should have did was stop this guy and told him, say, hey, you did this here. Don't try not to do that again, and let him go. You can almost judge who the bad characters are, but that's if you're a good police officer. That's if you're trying to do the right thing. If you're not trying to do the right thing, then everybody's a suspect to you, especially a black man. Everybody's criminal, especially a black man.
Yeah. But you know what? I think this here, and I think every black person in America feels exactly what I'm about to say. There's no excuse. I'm tunnel vision now. I don't want to hear nothing. My tunnel vision is fighting back. My tunnel vision is fighting back. I don't want to hear about, this is what they're gonna do. I don't want to hear it no more. Like I said, I'm defending myself, and every black person that got a heart that seen that video, enough is enough, and all hell about to break loose now, because we are tired of people treating us all kind of way. That's black people and white people. And you got all these black folks that want to be white folks and all this and all that and protect. Man, enough is enough. Enough is enough, Tiffany. Enough is enough, RG. Enough is enough, Sonia. Enough is enough, Jules. I don't want to hear nothing else. I was arguing with one of these guys because I'm out here at a volleyball tournament. I was arguing with this black guy, and he was being politically correct. And I told him, shut up. That's what's wrong with society with black people, because black people like you. He telling me I don't think you supposed to F the police. I tell him F you. I say what the hell I want to say because I'm a 1099 and ain't nobody. I'd be a damn fool to fight my own self. And see what it is, we got this mouthpiece and you working for these white folks or you working for whoever, and then you don't want to really say what you really want to say. I've been like this since I was 4 years old, and the only person two people I was scared of was God and my mama. My mama gone, and God got me. At the end of the day, stop accepting things stop accepting the way they treating us. There's no more a pacifier. There's no more. Hey, I guarantee you, get the same Malcolm X by any means necessary. I'm gonna protect my family from now on. I'm gonna protect my friend from now on. Ain't no more that, turn the other cheek. Ain't no more. And I guarantee you, everybody, most black people in America want to say the same thing, but too scared to say it. I'm talking for them. So policemen, if you want to bring it, because I'm tired. We tired of it. We tired of it. And I don't care what color you is. We tired of it. A policeman is a policeman.
Yeah. And they, to me, there was a comment that came across the bottom. And he's absolutely right. Mr. Scott. It was about a power trip, and it was about ego. Like, when I see those young men, when I saw the officers, I was trying to pick out like who could have been the ringleader out the 5. You know what I mean? And for to hear that the oldest one was only 32, like, are you, I guess, trying to make a name for yourself? Because I guess, you know, they're the Scorpions or whatever. But for the people that stood by and saw the police beating this young man who did nothing, you are absolutely held accountable as well. You should be charged too, because you have jumped in and stopped it. I know people want to protect themselves, or I'm doing the right thing because I'm gonna film it, and they're gonna get in trouble because I filmed it. No, I feel like if you see somebody doing somebody wrong, swing on them. You know what I mean? I mean, like, straight up. If you see the police beating somebody up and you know they wrong, swing on them, because they're human too. And you see them be drop your phone. Drop your phone. Forget that we all out here fighting them. You know what I mean? Because somebody's got it. Like, we have to intervene. We got to stop just being witnesses, y'all. Well, like swing on them.
Well, Tiffany, I'm a advocate for something a little different. I'm an advocate for a little something different. About good.
That shot up on him.
Yeah, I'm an advocate for. Don't swing on. Keep recording. Please keep recording, because see, once you swing on, then you have interjected yourself in it to where you could be killed now, and then nobody's recording. Then nobody's recording. So you got to record. Our thing is to advocate together with what we're doing and bringing everybody in the fold with us. The thing is that they've made complaints about the Scorpions for a long time, from what my friend said. He said these guys beat people. They don't turn on their video. They've been harassing people. They think that they run the city. They've just been terrorizing the whole city. And people have been complaining. And now she's disbanded the whole unit. The chief of police, she done disbanded the whole unit. But what was the problem when these people were complaining? These people have legitimate complaints. Something is systematically wrong with the system.
That's right.
If you got that many people complaining, you got that many complaints about your officers. Yes, they got to protect themselves, but they don't have to violate my rights in doing so.
Absolutely.
You know? And it's crazy, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
It goes back to knowing we have to know our rights.
Right. Let me offer this really quick, Tiffany, because it's important. And what we're modeling is what I want more people to model. I don't want you to go out there and tear up your city. I do want peaceful protests, even though Governor Kemp's stupid self want to turn into something more, but I won't go there. I want people to sit down and process this out loud through talking and not through violence. How are you all going to talk this through with your families? How does that look, Tiffany?
By being completely honest. With 4 children, I'm like, I retract my comment about swinging on the police. I mean, because I feel that, like, that's where I am. I didn't, audience, if you're looking, it's real. But don't swing on the police. I retract my comment from saying that.
I'll pick it up for you.
Thank you, Bernard. Thank you, Bernard.
I'll pick it up for you.
When you swing, I'm a swing.
No, you've had conversations. How these conversations? You got to process this. This is a process.
Yes, and
you know what? Why? Yeah, my thing is this: why we always have to take the high road?
Yes, we always got to take the high road.
Why we always got to hold up? Why people always say, you know, watch what you say. Shut up. I guarantee you, if y'all say what y'all really want to say in public, it may be a different outcome. Some of y'all will be behind closed doors and really want to say something, but you want to say it behind closed doors. I ain't no closed door. I'm going to say it in public. I'm going to say it behind the back. We got a big problem. with leadership in Savannah and to start with Van Johnson, and he got to go. And I see it, and I'm gonna do everything in my heart to make sure that happens. We got a big problem in the United States of America that Black people do not stick together until it knock on their door. Until it knock on their door, that's when they want to come on y'all. I'm not gonna wait till it knock on my door.
That's right.
I'm gonna help somebody so it don't happen on their damn door.
That's right. I constantly hold my police chief accountable for stuff that happens. And he's told me himself, like, Tiffany, you know stuff that happens within the community before I do. Because I was, and like, do you know that this happened? And a lot of times he don't know that it's happening. And so I told him, well, I don't want to be all over my police. No, you're going to have to hold your police accountable. And I'm keeping it between me and you, because if I take it public, and the people that listen and the people that know me, they know that I'm coming with my heart, with truth. I'm not coming out of vanity. I'm not coming just to have a name. I'm coming out of truth. And we have to do something. And so if I say something to the people that listen to me, then it's going to be a problem. So I'm coming to you before I go to the people to tell you that your police officers, they need to have a presence. It is to protect and serve. You don't have to keep us in our places, because that is not your job. Don't show up when something happens. Be present anyway. Let the people know that you're here, that you care about them. You don't have to. You want to have a cadet program. You can't have a cadet program if the people in the community don't know you. No one is going to send their child to be a police officer because they don't trust the police. Period.
That's it.
The police have to be what their jobs description is. It is to protect and to serve. You have to come within our communities. You have to have a presence within our community, because we're not going to accept you if you don't. Period.
And Tiffany, you know, we need more council people and commissioners like you. We need more elected officials like you who are going to speak their mind and tell the truth, irregardless of what anybody else feel. This is what it is. And that's why we love you so much, because you are real. You ain't nothing fake about you. You don't care nothing about what goes on behind that closed door. I'm going to tell you what I see and what I hear, and this is the facts, and we need to make it right. And you're going to continue to be a great.
And when I'm in those closed rooms, it's very quiet, because you're going to have to explain to me exactly what you mean when you say that we're going to build capacity for nonprofits. Which nonprofits are you referring to? The nonprofits that's already got millions, or the grassroots nonprofits? Because those are the ones that need the funding. Right. Those are the ones that's doing the work. Yeah. You want to talk about game prevention? Game prevention happens when you open up these recreation centers so our children can have somewhere to go. And when they get out, say it again. If they need help with their homework, you want to say that our children are on the 3rd grade level? Well, we have teachers that you're paying have to have incentives for when those teachers get off work. They're going to get paid for helping children with their homework. We have enough sports organizations. We need math and reading tutorials. That's what we need. We need our recreation centers open with people that care about our children when they get off the bus, because parents have to work. Come on now. I was that mama. I worked 12 hours a day for 3 years because I needed to provide for my children. Well, while providing for my children, my mama had to raise my children. Now, a lot of people don't have mamas and aunties that's going to raise their children. So you know who raised their children? The street.
The streets. But Tiffany. One of the things that I want all y'all to do is, if you get an hour today, 1 hour, go, everybody out there who watching, go back on our platform, Our Black Media, watch Incarceration to Incorporation from yesterday. Incarceration to Incorporation from yesterday. If you want to really be involved, engaged, and want to know what's going on, listen to go and watch that show from yesterday. Julius Campbell, who is the lead host on Incarceration to Incorporation, was on a panel of people all over the state, and y'all need to hear that. he was saying about the nonprofits. The reason that you can't get anything to work and connect the dots, they don't want to connect the dots because all the money, like you just said, where is it going? What nonprofits is it going to? It's going to the nonprofits that already got millions, the nonprofits that are already there and receiving all the money anyway, and it's not trickling down to the nonprofits that's doing the groundwork on the ground, and so they fighting for the money, the funding for the nonprofits, and they're giving it all to the ones that aren't making a difference. And the ones that can make a difference, they're underfunded, so they can't do what they need to do.
And they're also making RFPs that make them jump through hoops and loops and bounds, so people just like forget it. Like, no, don't do that. Here in Athens Park County. Go ahead, Robert. I'm sorry.
Now I said to speak to that, let's just talk about poverty is the root of so much, and we have communities throughout this nation that don't know the poverty issue. But I work with a young lady that wanted to start a homeless, just to restore people who've been, veterans who might have been disabled, or people who just life happened and have fallen on some income challenges and are homeless. You know how hard it is to get any type of funding for a nonprofit in a city that has a homeless pandemic. That is it. We have a mayor that will we have a mayor that will get on TV every week and talk and pat themselves on the back while people out here hungry. We have a real serious pandemic of people homeless. But then Lil Kasim Reed will kick them from under the bridge. Give us funding. Get rid of the loopholes. Let us have funding to serve our Black community. Let us have funding to serve the less fortunate. And that's leadership. Putting bricks on broad, now making the tourism industry better, that's not solving an issue. We are hurting people instead of helping people.
Yep. And to your point, Doc, I do know how hard it is because, I own the Coastal Nonprofit Resource Center, and I tell these new startups, I said, it's really, I know that they want to make you think that you're going to, hit the lotto if you find some grants, but the truth is that you're not going to find any grants that's going to give you substantial money when you're just starting out your nonprofit. They give grants to places like Step Up Savannah, who ain't never done a damn thing in Savannah to fight the poverty. Poverty has increased probably about 10% since they erected that foolishness, and all they have is big wigs getting more wealthy and doing nothing. You know? I mean, it's all a smoke screen, people.
Yeah. And if you pay attention, a lot of the programs, like here in Athens, Black children used to be able to go to the YMCA and stuff like that. Not anymore. It's so low-key segregated, and people don't even pay attention to it. And here in Athens, so we want to fund some nonprofits, right? We want to curb the violence and stuff like that. Well, if you're going to curb the violence, you're going to have to give funding to the nonprofits, the grassroots nonprofits. So what has happened is the RFP came out, but it's for expansion. And I'm like, expansion. The nonprofits here are barely making, ends meet to be able to serve the communities that they serve. And you want to put a stipulation in that we're going to only help nonprofits to expand? You got life all the way messed up. I don't know who you should have picked as a commissioner, but I'm the wrong one. Y'all going to have to go back to the drawing board as far as that RFP goes, and you're going to have to make it inclusive for every nonprofit that has the proper insurance and the proper paperwork, so that they can fund their, have somewhere for children to go this summer. Don't just keep giving the money to the people that already have the money.
And
it
ain't
was
doing
nothing. And ain't doing nothing.
But see,
they're doing something. They're patting their pockets. That's what they're doing.
Exactly.
They get rich.
And so, because like you said, Chandra, because big wigs and people that run the city sit on these boards, they're so, they're so strategic at making their proposals to fit exactly what the RFP wants it to be, because they created the effing RFP to begin with. So they get the money. And the ones that's doing the work, they're just stuck in limbo like, well, what did I do wrong tonight except to not get this money? And then again, they want to put it on a reimbursement. Baby, give them the money now. It ain't no reimbursement like for nonprofits that only have limited funding, that want to become a coalition. They don't even want to fund them. They want to put in the RFP that we're only going to fund. If you're going to be together, it's only going to be to the limit of 3 nonprofits. No, it's not. You're going to have to go back to the drawing board, because what we don't need is for anybody to feel excluded from being able to get funded for summer programs. That's how you curb violence. That's how you get children out of the streets, so that gangs don't pick them up, because they have a safe place that they can go to, that with somebody who care about them and who's going to pour into them. How you doing, Jesus?
Doing fine.
Yeah,
is it permissible? Is it permissible? Is it permissible? Huh?
Yeah, we want you to jump in. We only have like 10 more minutes. Right in.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, is it permissible to come on the show? Even though I'm not sitting down, I'm walking along River Street, enjoying the beautiful city of Savannah.
Your background is beautiful.
Thank you.
Why you not on the farm? But go ahead, Teray. We want you to chime in on this. We don't have much time left, but I definitely am glad you joined us. And just go ahead and share with you. We definitely want to hear today.
Oh, what? Chime in on what? So I just finished doing the tour, so now let me.
The whole Memphis catastrophe.
Well, it's about people. Just because people look like you, don't think that they don't engage in racism. They engage in racism because they've been taught. And if you hate yourself, that's the type of stuff you do. That was one of the things I just finished doing the journey. See, when I share people down here, the concept of the best here on River Street. And so these Black sisters who I just left, they understood that again, when you love yourself and you understand you're descendant of the best, you treat each other differently. You look out for one another. You don't embrace this stuff to destroy one another. And so that's what happened. You got these officers who have done that because, again, one of them tried to justify what happened too. He's still trying to justify. He had some regret, but still trying to justify to other people he talked to. I could go on more, but I said, you're saying you got a lot of time. That's why I said, because again, I'll just say that this is what happened when you now have people who are the enemies of the people. You talk about that constantly. You reference that, we say that, but understand this in all areas. It's in the academic areas, educational areas, our religious areas. We got Black people in positions who are destroying other Black people for the system of racism.
Internalized racism. That's what it's called. We got about 7 minutes, Jamal. But we see that all the time, and then again, it's about how you like yourself, which I'm going to share this, that I've even shared with people too. Economically, when you have a city that has African-American mayor, African-American chairman of the county commission, you have African-American DA, you have African-American police chief, you have African-American fire chief, you have African DA, you would think that the city is progressive. And now this is not talking about this current time. I said this when we had this 20 years ago. I said, guess what? And I said, we have not created no new Black millionaires here in this city. And I said, you know what that is? Because we feel beholden to somebody else. We think somebody else is better than us. We think somebody else. So we need them to be accepting of who we are. So, and whatever little acceptance they give us, we are happy with that. We are happy to go to the yacht club, the Italian club, the German club, to be around them and hear them make plans. And then we feel happy when they pet us on our heads like we are pets.
Keep going. Keep on. You on? Keep on.
Oh, and with that, then when they tell you to sick people just like you go after people look just like you. You don't go after them. You just sit down. So they tell you sit, you sit down. But your own people, they tell you to sit your own people, like you in a dog fight. And so that's what happened. So psychologically, emotionally, that's what some of us are. And that, again, like some people hear me say, it does not matter about titles or position, because guess what? They're doing the same thing. People might go and look at it and say, hey, it's so awful they do in Memphis and other things like that, or how people are carrying on. Guess what? They do it to you also in their boardrooms. They do it to you in their classroom.
Sure do.
It is still violent. It is still violent. Absolutely violent. They do it inside their workrooms. They're still doing all of it. And it's just as violent. But then you think, oh, it's solved. And just like I share with some folks, they're going to talk about nonviolence. I said nonviolence, but Kingdom talking about anybody saying turn the other cheek just for the hell of it. What it was about, it's like, we want to put the best face forward. We want these people, because we know they're going to be violent. We know they're going to be violent. So we want them to not be embarrassed with their violence. So it ain't about you just sort of turn the other cheek. But some of us, we become the pets of them. So we become violent on our own people, that they can sick us on our own people. So officers, even some people going to ask the question about, even with regards to our medical personnel, again, sick, they don't do anything for us, but they value somebody else more than themselves, which really, if your humanity is intact, you value yourself and the group of people just like you before anybody else, because that's your mama and your daddy essentially, because that's your grandparent, that's who you are. And so because you love yourself, you can then go love everybody else. But if you don't love yourself, then guess what? You love other people more than you love your own group of people, then you are a pet for them. You are that dog, you are that cat that they come rub you on your head and you're like, meow. Yeah.
That's what I feel. So we have to keep this. We have to keep the same energy no matter what room we go in. And I said when I ran for commission, I had nobody. You know what I mean? I had y'all and y'all in Savannah, but in Athens, I didn't have anybody. No one reached out to know who Tiffany was. Everybody had, my opponent as their candidate. And so now that I didn't have anybody when I ran, but I won. When I go into rooms, I don't feel like I have to fit into what that room is, consists of. Because y'all don't know what Tiffany's gonna do. We don't know what Tiffany's gonna say. Because nobody took the time to, reach out to Tiffany, to talk to Tiffany. But Tiffany is about her people. And Tiffany is about the business of the people and the growing of our youth. Like nobody is going to, there is no, when I'm in rooms and they say stuff, I need to understand. And when I say things like that, because my passion, I also come prepared. You ain't gonna never get me slipping. If there's an issue, I know how to read, write, and comprehend. So that's how I can do my job. And I know what the people need. And so when I go into those rooms, we're gonna do this right. We're gonna do it the right way. And if you don't like it, I'm a commissioner. Like they had told me that I had a little bit of power. So baby, when I go into that room, oh, you're gonna listen and you're gonna do it right, and then you come back to me. I like that.
You sound like all the woman Keisha Gibson Carter, Alicia Blakely, and Bernetta Lanier. You sound like you a fighter because you stand up for what is right and you don't back down from it. And see, people gonna label you. They're gonna label you in Athens after a while as a troublemaker. It's good trouble. So
it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Every interview that I do, I tell them that I'm homebred. My great grandma was born here. My granddaddy has land here and still has land here. My great uncle has plenty of land here. So what you're not gonna do, and now that I'm commissioner of that land, I'm the commissioner of where I grew up. And so I know that there is disparities within my community. I know that y'all pull programs for my community. That's why I ran. And I have 5 children. And like this is what we're owed. You know what I mean? As a local government, you put policies in place to strengthen everybody, not just Baxter Street, not just the University of Georgia. And I'm coming to the University of Georgia as well, because even though the University of Georgia was established before Athens Clarke County is still here. So we mend those relationships. We mend those relationships for the generation that's to come behind us. I don't have to benefit anything from it. As long as Daniel and Jacob and the boys that I mentor, as long as they can benefit from the things that the University of Georgia has to offer, then I feel like I won. You know what I mean? I feel like if I can get programs established and sustainable, if I'm too much these 4 years and they don't reelect me, I still have programs that's going to go on even though I'm not sitting in that seat. That's the goal.
But you know what, Tiffany, what you've done, what you've done.
I love
close out.
Look at the clock,
We're
Robert.
gonna close out. Let me just say this: if nothing else, you started the conversation that people were too scared to start, and I like that. Go ahead, Chandra.
Yeah.
Real quick, anybody, real quick.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna say this here. I'm gonna say this here.
Oh, thank you, Chandra, girl. Yeah, I'm there. I'm good.
Hey, no, I want to say this. I want to say this here. We are the only people in the country cannot sit to the table and have dinner with our family. Or God, somebody gonna break down our door or kick it out or something like that. Everybody can have a good time with their family except us. Except us. That's facts. Period.
That's why we have to be more intentional and pour into our children. We have to break the lineages of what they see in society that tells them that they are less than, because they are not less than. And I feel like if we pour into them now, there is nothing that they can't do when they become 32 years old. All baby, right. I'm pouring into nations, baby. And they're going to be just as radical as me.
All right.
I
love it. We're going to have you ready for government in 12 years now.
Go ahead, Julie.
Tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah.
Jamal, we'll thank you for y'all joining in. Special edition of the Rabble. Robert, we ain't gonna do the outro. We'll just end it at about. We'll end the outro. We're not gonna do the outro.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just end it when anybody else got any last words. We only got 1 minute.
Love each other, love on each other, encourage each other, pray for each other. There's nothing we can't do.
That's right.
That's the commissioner out of Athens, Georgia. What you say, Bernard?
Bad.
Oh yeah,
girl, you bad, but between you and Sonya, y'all can get y'all own show.
Hello.
Y'all call it Black.
Oh Lord,
no, it's gonna be the Black Woman Show. I'm telling you.
Sandra already got a name for it. What's the name of Sandra?
I can't never.
Let's talk about it.
Come on, America.
Let's talk about it.
No, I thought you said
let me know, Chandra, and we'll talk about it.
Okay, y'all get with us.
No, they ain't.
Anyway,
No, they ain't coming back no more, y'all. You let Mom come on, America talk, and I can't.
All right, we'll talk with y'all a little bit later.
Bye,
y'all.
Peace.